Hello and welcome to The Silver Lining, the weekly geekly talk show where we discuss any number of topics that may have come up during the week, whether they be heavy or light. I am your host, Uncle Silver, aka Silver Greg, aka Greg, whatever you are comfortable calling me, and welcome to you, my co-host, the chat. Always a fantastic time spending these couple of hours with you guys. Let's see if we can get to a couple of hours because it's a little bit light today. I've cameras desynced as always, which is a constant for me. It wouldn't be our show if we didn't have some desync going on there. So let's deactivate and activate there, because you know we are professional stream here. Also, that pun is terrible. Fox Ramy, what is going on? Hopefully you guys are having a decent weekend. Hopefully my camera is looking a little bit better. Yeah, it's been a week. Mostly just that one big piece of news. I feel like a lot of the stuff that was happening this week was like left over from last week. Hey Lizard, what's going on? I feel like a lot of it was left over from last week. Like I kept seeing stories about Belle Delphine, right? Delphine, the bathwater one. I saw some stories about that, and like there seems to be a lot of stuff that was left over from last week, so I had trouble figuring out what to talk about other than the Switch Lite. Dragoon Knight, what is going on? How goes it? It goes well, Dragoon Knight. How goes it with you? I had a dentist appointment earlier this week. Hey, our Mega Man, what's happening? I had a dentist appointment yesterday, actually. I had an appointment yesterday just to clean up and a checkup. So, you know, things seem to be going pretty well. What about news of Cuphead? We talked about Fox. That was last week. I thought we talked about that last week. I'm almost positive somebody brought that up during the viewer topics last week. I'm not entirely sure. My thoughts on that are just I want to see what comes of it. It seems like a cool idea. So I just want to see what comes of it. I have slowly but surely gotten out of being hype about shows and games this early. You know, Netflix is doing a Cuphead show. Okay, let's see what happens. I've gotten out of the, oh my god, because I want to see how it happens, like how it plays out and what happens, if it even happens at all. But then I want to, you know, we could be sitting here getting all excited and then it sucks. You know what I mean? I got enough crap to deal with as far as stuff that I want to buy but can't afford. Audio, Jesus Christ, man. What is it with this camera, man? I don't understand it. Sometimes it works fine. If I unplug it and plug it back in, it'll probably work fine. Let's see here. Should be about 1.5 seconds delay. See, that looks fine. And then it's probably gonna hiccup or something. I don't. Sean, subscribe in the hunt with a sub. Thank you so much, Sean, for the 20 months. Almost 2 years. Thank you, Greg, for 20 months of amazing content. Sean, thank you for 20 months of support. That is a big thank you there. Just let me know if we desync again. I don't want you to be paying for a crap show. Audio still ahead of video. I'm not seeing it hiccuping. I remember the time that we were the problem we were having before was that it would start. Is it bad, Lilac? Milan 96, is that is not your real hair? Oh, I'm pretty sure it's my real hair. Here, let's deactivate and activate again. We really need a new camera. Welcome everyone. Rooster AR, Rye, what is happening? Dragoon Knight also in the hunt with the Twitch Prime sub. Thank you so much, very much appreciated. Is it still bad? Tell me if the lag is still bad. I don't want to have to do a cameraless show. Yeah, I just absorbed any other hair Johnny would have. Is that better? Is that okay? Is that if it's like a microsecond off, I can't really be concerned with it. That's okay. It's better. Let's see if it lasts. See, yeah, because I'm not dropping frames through OBS, but sometimes the camera stutters, and then I think that's the problem. But yeah, it's at almost. It's supposed to delay a bit. God damn it, man! See, it keeps doing it. I wonder if it's doing the same thing it did before, which is it was. I'm watching it right now. I'm staring at it, so I want to see if it stutters like it did before. It's a bit delayed, but I can live. It's better not completely fixed, but I can make do. Yeah, more listening than watching, so desyncing isn't an issue. Well, but this stuff goes up on YouTube later, and I don't want to run a. I know it's an amateur show, but I don't want it to look like one. Yeah, bring in Sage. So Sage will knock it down more than anything else. Yeah, I don't know what is going on with it now. I turn it off, I turn it back on, I try and configure it. When I try and configure it, sometimes the settings reset themselves for no reason whatsoever. Yeah, man, what Rami, this is unfortunately normal for us. I'll be honest with you. I appreciate all the support, I really do. And it definitely drives me to want to make a better show and everything. But when shows start like this, it is incredibly discouraging to me, and it is incredibly frustrating. Amateur, I didn't know I was still on Pornhub. AR, you could have a second window open. That's not my business. Oh, when a problem comes along, you must rip it. Yeah, it's a bit discouraging. It's a bit frustrating, which is why I think I'm so driven to get another camera. The funny thing is, I don't know if it's even the camera or if it's my computer having some sort of weird stutter. Elements, what is going on? I forgot this was on. Unbelievable. Started my shift. The stream always makes me happy. Will the camera ever be fixed? Tune in next week at Silver Lining Z to find out. Lilac, thank you for the 25 bits. Is that a +2? Have some bits for the lag. Also, can you say your damn level killed me enough? Did the level really kill you? The Castlevania level? I thought it was super easy. I was worried that it was too easy. Milan, what's a black Hagrid? I'm Hispanic, so I don't know what a black Hagrid is. Unless that's some sort of an insult, in which case you can show yourself to the door. But if it's not, that's okay. I beat Bloodstained today. Elements, it is a great game, isn't it? Granite Mech, what is happening? It was easy, but the flying... Oh, okay. The flying, spiky... what the hell are they? Damn it. Spikies. I don't know. Spiky guys. Black Hagrid would be me. So yeah, it's been, we had a week. We had some interesting things. Well, one interesting thing in particular, but as for me, it was a fine week. Like I said, I had a dentist appointment, and I don't know. We hit 1,000. We hit 1,000 followers on Twitch, which is fantastic. I actually also hit 2,000 followers on YouTube, which is just hilarious to me because I barely ever use YouTube except to re-upload this. I still haven't gotten back to Bloodstained. I take Hagrid as a compliment. I would take Hagrid as a compliment too. Just because I would take it as a compliment doesn't mean that somebody was saying it as a compliment, and that's my issue. Woo, tally ho. Good King Linky. I believe down here it's lally ho. Tetris stream. Oh, I did get that Tetris Splatoon theme. I actually grabbed that earlier today. What did you eat today? What did I eat today? I had a protein bar after my workout, and then some apple slices, cream of wheat. I love cream of wheat, like brown sugar cream of wheat. And I had something else. I know I had something else. And then for lunch, I think I had cereal. I had a small bowl of cereal. Lally ho! Is it, or was it rally ho? I played the US one. It was lally ho. I don't know if it was rally ho anywhere else. Where's the meat? Later. I'm having chicken with tortellini later on. Do you want to come to Norway? Milan, I would love to fly to a lot of different places. Flying terrifies me, or at least it used to. I haven't tried to be on a plane in a long time. I would love to go to Norway. I think if I could snap my fingers and go places and be wherever I wanted to be, I would have been to every country already, and I would be going back and forth looking for different places to go. I just watched a surf video today for surfing, where it was like surfing incredible waves, and some of the places they were was just like, I can't believe that there are waves this big. I can't believe these places exist. Which is that's always my thing. Like I would love to go to as many places as possible, but in addition to being uncomfortable on the idea of an airplane, money money is the thing that stops everything from happening. If people think money is what makes things happen, money is what stops things from happening. But yeah. I mean, that was my week. It was a pretty mild week. It was my first week back to work after I had 2 weeks off, and then I had like an off and on week. So this was my first full week back, and it was okay. But I also started working out. For anybody who was not here, Monday or Tuesday, I think is when I said it. It was I have started back at the gym, and I really want to make this work, and I want to make this work. Not just for myself. For anybody, this is repeating what I said on Monday. So for anybody that saw this, just tune yourself out. I want, excuse me. I want to make it work at the gym this time, not just for myself, but I want to prove it to all of you. I know that there are a lot of us. We have a very sedentary set of hobbies, and to borrow somebody's word from earlier this week. So what that means is that it's not a coincidence that many people who are geeks, who love our geeky things, our video games and our sci-fi movies and stuff like that, that we have weight problems and such. So I want to do this to prove to people that it can be done, that you can get out there and you can lose the weight. And for all that people say that it takes, I'm at Planet Fitness, so I'm literally spending $10 a month. Instead of buying snacks, I'm buying some slightly healthier foods, which unfortunately is more money. So I'm buying less food, which works. Yes, I thought we agreed that money buys happiness. Let's not kid ourselves. Money buys happiness. Money buys security. And that buys happiness. So anybody who tells you that is selling something. You too can learn to be radical. Yeah, elements. I don't know where that came from. I made a post earlier this week on Twitter that I had the weirdest urge to see something, and then I went to look for it and I couldn't find it. I have no idea why. There's no reason for it. I have the strongest urge to see 2B from Nier Automata in her full outfit, like a live action person, not a drawing or anything, but a live action person on a skateboard doing crazy tricks. I don't know why. I don't skateboard and I haven't played Nier Automata in months, but I have the weirdest reason to want to see this. Implying I can even get oh wait, what was that? What did you say, Lizard? That was it you, Lizard, that said that money can't cure my depression. Oh, I bet it can. Money will give you the time to work on it and do the things that you need to do, because sometimes a lot of people's depression, whether or not they see it, is somehow in some way tied to money. And if they were able to know that their issues are taken care of, they would be able to find happiness easily. So yes, money does buy happiness, and yes. Greg just wants to see a sexy woman skateboard. Rooster, but I can look that up. I can look up sexy woman on a skateboard and see it just fine. Money makes me happy, sure. Still a failure at the end of it. Well, that's, I mean, if you're a failure if you want to be. Just a failure of money now. Money does buy comfort. Money buys security. Money buys not having to worry about where your next meal is coming from, how you're going to afford your next doctor's appointment or your medication. Money buys all of those things. An excess of money is a bit dangerous, because that's when you start getting into the point where you feel like you have to spend and it becomes a burden. That's not what you want to do. Let me get into shape, and then I will be that 2B skateboarder. Hey, listen, Rooster. If I was in shape and had the body for it, I'd be the 2B skateboarder. So that's my week. It's been a wild week. It's been very weird. The summertime is always a very strange time for me. Without getting too deep, the summertime is always a very weird time for me, because I usually end up dealing with one issue or another. There were a couple years ago where I went through a bit of depression during the summer, and it's just because I can't function in the summer, and that's my biggest problem. I can't do anything in the summer. I want to leave the house, but I don't want to leave the house because it's sweltering outside. It's 95 degrees all the time. So I always go through, whenever the summer really kicks into high gear, I usually go through these weird sort of moods, and it either manifests itself in a fun way where I start posting weird things about 2B on a skateboard, or unfortunately it does slip me into some sort of depression, and I get real bummed out, which is one of the reasons I'm very happy to be doing this show and be streaming in general, because this is very fun, positive thing for me. I always have a good time. Even when I get pissed off because the camera won't sync up properly, I am usually enjoying myself when I'm doing these streams. So in that regard, I would like to thank all of you, because I say it all the time, and I want to make sure that everybody understands that your support makes this feel more worthwhile. I would do it anyway because I like it, but the reality is when you turn on that stream and you see viewers start popping up and people start talking in your chat, it feels good, and it makes it feel much more valuable. It makes it feel like you're not only doing something that you like, you're doing something that's worthwhile. So I thank you. I try and make sure that I get that across, but in case I don't, I thank everybody for that. I'll drink to that. I will drink to that too. How about that? I do take naps, but there are times when yeah, the heat. Yeah, Lizard, I do not function in the heat. I don't understand people. I've mentioned before, I have a theory about the summertime. The people that really, really, really like the summer always have access to water. It's always, they go to the beach all the time, or they've got a pool or something. It's always that they have access to a lot of water when they love the summertime. Nobody likes the summertime that does not have some sort of water access all the time. But it's always nice building up, being part of a community. Yeah, Elements, I think so. I think the idea is that you feel like you're building, and that's it. Actually, Elements, that's a good point. You feel like you're building a community when it works, when you get the support, when people start showing up for the stream, when people start following and subscribing. You feel like you're building up something. I can imagine streaming for 2 years and having 2 people show up at the most. I can understand why that's discouraging. And some people would say, "Oh, well, you're not supposed to be doing it for viewers. You're supposed to be doing it for yourself." Yeah, but when you do something that is supposed to draw people and it doesn't draw people, it does kind of feel very discouraging. And people don't want to admit that, but it's true. I got to see if I can use the hot tub, my folks. But that's the opposite of summertime. Hot tubs are for the winter. I got super sick yesterday because of the heat. More or less just recovered now, thankfully. Oh, fantastic. I'm glad you recovered. I'm glad you recovered, and I'm glad you're spending your recovery here with us. All right. So let me open this back up. I want to get into our first topic because this is a big one, and this topic actually might go a bunch of weird different ways. The Switch Lite was announced. They finally announced one of the worst kept secrets ever, which is the Switch Lite, coming to stores, the September 20th? September 20th, I believe, with Link's Awakening is coming out the same day. So I know which one of those I'm going to be getting. I'm okay about the Lite. Hey, the Nintendo Vita. Hey, flip note. We are not built for heat, Lilac. Elements, you know what's funny? I am Puerto Rican, but not from Puerto Rico. And people always say that, well, you should like the heat. Like, no, I don't. So yeah, the Switch Lite was announced, and it is going to be a permanently portable system. It's not going to have any TV. I have a list of some of the lighter specs here. It's not going to have. You know what? I'm gonna go through some of these. I have a small list here of a few features about it. So I'm gonna go through some of these, and I want to talk about the ones that matter to me. Smaller 5.5-inch touchscreen. That's fine. I think that's bigger than the 3DS screen. Somebody can check that. I think the 3DS screen, the new 3DS screen, I think that was about that size, maybe a little bit bigger. They're saying that the system it's the size of a Switch with the Joy-Cons connected minus one Joy-Con. That's what they're saying as far as the size of it. It looks to be a little bit thicker. Can you use other Joy-Cons? I can't remember if they said that. Budget Switch, just in time for Pokemon. Lighter all-in-one design. No detachable Joy-Con controllers. I don't really care about that too much because that only affects multiplayer. That affects the ability for you to sit down and play the game with other people. Which isn't a big deal for me. I never did that, and I don't use the Joy-Con anyway. My Joy-Cons are also drifting sticks, so they are. I haven't used my Joy-Con in months. I heard the screen is 5.5, while the standard screen is a 6.6, so that's not bad. I'm curious as to what the 3DS. What are the new 3DS? Hold on. New 3DS screen size. What are the new 3DS screens? Oh, God, it's all in millimeters. Why is it in millimeters? 4.88? Is that 4.88 screen? I think that's like a 4.5. Okay, so the 3DS is still smaller. What else do we got here? Okay, so no Joy-Con means that you're not going to be able to use it as a two-player system. Obviously, it's not going to come with a kickstand. Again, not really a big deal to me. So it's not much of a loss. D-pad style control pad. Thank you for the D-pad. I'm very appreciative that there's going to be a D-pad on there. I really wish they would just release a Joy-Con that had a D-pad on it for the people who have no intention of handing off that Joy-Con to a second person. I would appreciate that, but you know what? I have a Switch Pro controller, so I'm fine with that. But yeah, I would really appreciate a D-pad Joy-Con, but it's nice to know that there's one on the system. These are no IR or HD rumble functions. I don't care. I don't care. Issue is some games require Joy-Con to play. Yeah, I've 1-2 Switch, which is not really a big loss. What else did they say requires a Joy-Con to play? Because my other big concern is Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. You can't use a Pro Controller for that. You have to use a Joy-Con or the ball or the Pokemon, the Pokeball controller. The Pokeball controller is terrible. So, and that would just mean that you have to bring it with you. That's a loss, not a gain. I thought they patched. Did they finally patch Pro support in? I need to go and check that because you can play Let's Go in handheld mode. Oh, when it's in handheld mode, it'll let you use the attached Joy-Con. Okay. Yeah, I thought you needed it to do the flippy throw. The Pro's D-pad isn't that great. It's too small in my hand. See, Hawk Goggles, I like the Pro's D-pad. I thought that the Pro had a fine D-pad. Everybody really badmouthed it, but I thought it was okay. It's just a little awkward, is all. Didn't they bring up 1-2? I think they did bring up 1-2 switch. But I don't remember if there's any other games. Like, I'm not going to sit here and talk about how much it sucks that you're not going to be able to play one game on the Switch Lite. And here's the thing. You can't play 1-2 switch on the Switch Lite. But the Switch Lite is not a party system. The Switch Lite is not meant for you to have a bunch of people around and everybody competing against each other in the game. It's meant to be a personal system. And I don't picture a lot of people playing 1-2 switch on their own. So it doesn't really seem to matter to me. I don't think that it should matter at all. I'm very confused about that. I mean, 1-2 switch, what little I played of it's not good. That was a tech demo at best, and it should not have been charged. You should not have been charged $30-$40 for it. ARMS probably. I believe you can play ARMS with sticks. You can do ARMS with the Pro Controller and sticks. Mario Party, Super Mario Party. All right, that's gonna suck if you can't, unless they patch in some sort of controller support. That's gonna suck if you can't play Mario Party. Or Labo, since the Switch Lite doesn't have the IR camera, which means no VR. Okay, so then in Labo is the other one. The Switch Lite is for little Jimmy to play in the car. I mean, so yeah, it's one of those things that when you look at the entire Switch's library and you think about how many physical games there already are, and then there are tons of indie games, digital games. When you look at all of that, are you supposed to not put out a new system that a lot of people would love to have for 3 games? It just seems, and this is the thing, the regular Switch is not going. This is a big point that I wanted to get into in a little bit, but I'll get into it now. The regular Switch isn't going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. So this is not a replacement for, this isn't even a replacement for the 3DS, which is something we'll also get into. It's not a replacement for the Switch. They're still going to be selling the OG Switch. So if you go to the store and your kid says, I want a Nintendo Switch and Labo, it really is up to the employees that work at the store, hopefully. We're thinking about GameStop, so they're probably not going to do this at Target. But it should be up to them to try and support the customer and say, just so you know, this doesn't work with this. Lite is good for kids, but not worth this. See, I don't think it's just good for kids. I think it's good for. Okay, we're going to get into it. We're going to get back into it. Sorry, I got to head out later, Fox. Have a good one. Thank you for the 25 bits. D-pad style control, lighter all-in-one design, improved battery life, 3 to 7 hour battery life. The original one you have it there was 2.5 to 6.5, so it goes from 3 to 7. It's an extra half hour on each end. That is not a significant deal, but I don't mind. I expected it. You have better battery life. You have a probably a smaller chip definitely a smaller chip that is going to probably draw less power. But you've also got a smaller battery, physical battery. So it's understandable. I'm actually surprised that they managed to keep it close to the other Switch and actually outdo the original Switch. I am actually surprised at that. So that's not a big shock to me. That battery life. That's actually something I was relatively expecting. Like I said, I am impressed that it's a little bit better. Yeah, so the improved battery life. This is the big one that's been kind of getting on my nerves. This is the one that's really getting on my nerves. No ability to dock the system or play in tabletop mode. You don't have Joy-Cons that disconnect. The controllers are built into the system. It is meant to be a single person portable system. If you shouldn't want to dock it. That's not what it's for. If you want to dock, and again, this is where I was going to talk about. The idea that the original Switch isn't going away. If you're looking at this and saying, "But I still want to plug it to my TV," then buy the original Switch. The original Switch is not going away. It's not going anywhere. There is a group of people that want this. If you're not that group of people, then you're not that group of people. It's just that simple. The people who want this use it specifically for travel. They don't play video games at home that much, or they prefer their home console systems like the PS4. If they're on the go, they want to play Switch. It doesn't have to do everything that the other system does because the other system still exists. When they removed the backwards compatibility from the DS to the 3DS, when they removed the the GameCube compatibility from the Wii to that Wii Mini, the little red one, that's frustrating in a way because you now don't make the system that played that stuff before. But you're still making the Switch. That's the main thing I noticed in the comments of the video. People concerned about the Lite replacing the OG Switch. Yeah, it's not replacing the OG Switch. It's not. The OG Switch is still there. All you have to do now is decide what it is that you're looking for. And this has been the issue with Nintendo for a while now. This has been a constant with Nintendo. When Nintendo starts introducing more versions of their systems into the family, into the 3DS family, you don't just go out and buy the next one because it's the next one. You ask yourself if it has features that you need. Which one of these works best for you? Do you want the 3DS or the 2DS? It's the same exact system, except one of them doesn't have the 3D stereoscopic thing to it. If you don't use it, then you buy the 2DS. If you do, you buy the 3DS. They all exist at the same time for a reason. They are there to fulfill the needs as they may be different from one person to the next. And that's what this is. The Switch Lite is just replacing a different thing. Because there are a lot of people. Why do people act like this is new for them? Yeah, this is the same thing. I have a perfect example. I have two docks for my system. I have two Switch docks. My second Switch dock came from Mark, my nephew, because I had talked about the fact that I was waiting for them to release a second dock for purchase individually. Mark told me that at no point does he play his Switch on the TV. So he gave me his second dock. This would be for him. He doesn't play it on the TV at all. He plays it more on the go. It's smaller. It's easier to take places. He doesn't worry about detaching the Joy-Con because they need to be connected to the system at all time. That's who this is for. I'll tell you where this is going to sell. You want to know where this is going to sell? You already know what I'm going to say. If you follow the industry, you know exactly where I'm going to say. Japan is going to go bonkers for this system. I promise you, when Pokemon Swish comes out, when Animal Crossing comes out, these are going to be the primary version of the system that people buy in Japan. They're going to go bananas for it. This unit is most likely for a younger demographic. It looks like it's built. It does look a little thicker. It does look a little thicker with two C's. So I assume that it's going to be a lot more sturdy, which I don't feel like they're marketing it towards children, but I think parents are going to pick up on and they're going to appreciate. If the performance of videos are as good as the dock Switch, I'll be. That's a good question, AR. The performance obviously drops when you go from docked to portable. I'd be interested to see if this maintains the docked quality of gameplay that the OG does. That's an interesting question. It does look like a Wii U gamepad got compressed a little bit. And you know what, Elements? I loved the Wii U gamepad when I thought you'd be able to take it with you. I thought you were going to be able to buy games on the eShop and have them on your memory card and take the Switch, the Wii U controller with you. I thought that would have been great, and then apparently you can't. Speaking of performance in regards to a Switch, after a long period of Bloodstained Ritual of the Night on Switch, what are your final thoughts on the Switch port of it? I haven't played through it. I played the PS4 version. I have not finished all the way through the the Switch version of it. It definitely didn't look as good. It definitely ran a bit slower. It was a 30 frames per second, but I haven't gotten all the way through it. I want to get through it because there is a boss near the end that drops the frame rate to single digits, and I'm curious to see what happens on the Switch version of the game. Would definitely want a Switch for Doom 2016 and Eternal. Now that I have my laptop, can't play. Okay, I think on Nintendo that the Lite could handle 1080. Lilac, that's going to be very impressive. Because now they're working on a new revision to the Switch hardware, to the OG Switch, that's going to have a better chip probably. So I'm interested to see what happens there. And that actually raises an interesting idea. They are revising the internals of the OG Switch while they're doing the Switch Lite. So when we talk about a comparison of battery life, for instance, I'm interested to see if the battery life for the OG Switch is going to go up, because we're talking about 2.5 hours to 6.5 hours on the OG Switch versus 3 hours to 7 hours on the Switch Lite. Not very different at all. But what if the OG Switch goes up to 4 hours to 8 hours or even more? That's going to be interesting. I do want to see what happens there. Hey, Andy P. Andy Mine P. It's not going to be anything significant, so I wouldn't get my hopes up. I was about to bring that up. Yeah. So I'm interested to see. I want to see what happens. See, one of the things I like about things like the Switch Lite happening are that it does shake everything up. Obviously, since the technology is good enough to make the Switch smaller, what happens to the original system? Or are we going to get to a point where eventually, and this is a separate topic that I want to talk about, if and when a Switch Pro comes out, is it going to be more powerful but the same size as the original Switch? Or is it going to be bigger but stronger because now you're combining a larger size with stronger tech? I would really, really like to see a Switch Pro. At most, Switch Lite will probably run at 900p for some games. I hope that's at least 900p and not at most, but we'll see what happens. If it runs at 720p for a small screen, I'm really not broken up about it. 900p would be very nice. For me, it's more about frames. I'm more of 30 frames per second is perfectly playable, but if I can have 60 frames per second, I would really rather have that. I'm a Switch Pro. Now, let me ask you this. I had a question. I had an idea about what the Switch Pro could be. And I think the slightly bigger battery life is because of the 5.5 inch screen. The OG is 6.2 inches for reference. Yeah, we were talking about that. Because it has better battery life, but the battery is going to be physically smaller. So I'm actually really surprised that they kept it as close to the original as possible. Let me ask your thoughts on this idea, though. The Switch Pro. What if they turned the Switch Pro into a home console? What if they gave you a box roughly this big, This is a Switch case, so it's obviously a little bit thicker. What if they gave you a box this big without a screen on it? So it outputs to the TV. You can't disconnect it and take it places with you. But you have a much stronger processor, much better cooling, and comes with a Pro Controller standard for $200. What would you say to that? Comes with slots on it, the slots on the side so you can charge your Joy-Con controllers if you still want to buy extra Joy-Con. What would you think of that? You have, that's sort of what I was thinking. Switch Lite becomes the portable Switch. The Switch Pro becomes the stay-at-home console. That has some data mine specs. I don't know about that. See, Diego, remember though, you're building a home console out of technology that you already have. So you're not paying for research or anything like that. You're also removing the screen and the battery. That's why $200 may seem a bit outrageous. It may seem a bit low, but they're selling you a $200 system, the Switch Lite, that has a screen and a battery and a bunch of and better technology than the OG Switch. I'm talking about a system that has better technology than the OG Switch, more room for even better technology than the Switch Lite, but removes the screen and the battery. I don't know. That seems interesting. And then that kills it. No, Lizard, it doesn't kill the need for Joy-Cons because some people may prefer Joy-Cons. You may also like Joy-Cons as second controllers depending on what game you play. And you would need to go out and buy Joy-Con if you really want to play 1-2 Switch and Super Mario Party. And of course the Labo stuff.
Your ideas are intriguing to me, and I wish to subscribe to your newsletter.
For what everybody was talking about, that was one of the points that everybody brought up, was that, you're not going to be able to play certain games on it. You'd be able to play them on this if you bought your Joy-Con. That's what I would want. I would want the system to lay flat like this, and then on the sides you can put the Joy-Con, sort of like you do now for the 3DS, for the Switch. But there's no playability. You're not putting them on there to pick it up and then play the system. It just sits there. A version of the Switch that's just a Labo. Just give me higher processor power and a larger screen and keep the Switch the same size. Well, wait, you can't give you a larger screen if you keep the Switch the same size. It's interesting. I think it would benefit if Nintendo creates a cross-save system. Dragoon Knight, that's one of the biggest points. That's one of my biggest problems. I would not bother with the Switch Lite because I still play at home, especially when Animal Crossing comes out, and I need cross-saving ability, and I can't do that. There's no point in me having two versions of the same system if I can't switch back and forth between the games. Switch. Bring the concept of the Switch. Well, no, Neon. Again, I say it again. The original Switch would not be discontinued. You would still have the original Switch. That would actually cover everything. People who want handheld, people who, yes, let's play. Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. That would cover everything. Okay, so here's my thought process. This is my thought process. I want to include everybody in this. I'm thinking back to when the Switch was first announced and when the Switch was first shown. And I'm thinking of all the ways that people wanted to doubt the system. I would rather have a home console because I don't plan on taking it on the go. I'm not taking my $300 system and playing it on the bus. All right. Switch Pro doesn't leave the house. They all play the same games. Doesn't leave the house. It's a home console system. It's more powerful. Well, I don't play my system at home. I don't need the dock. Can I buy it without the dock? Because I only play it on the go, really. I wish the Joy-Cons didn't break because they're my controller. Switch Lite. Play it on the go, whenever you want. Better battery life, slightly. Joy-Cons are attached and much more sturdy. The whole system is built to be on the go. Well, what's the point of the Switch if you can't switch back and forth between the two of them? That's supposed to be the whole point of the name of the system, right? OG Switch. You buy the original Switch, you compromise a little bit of power, but you also get the portability and the ability to switch back and forth between the two. This covers everybody. Everybody who might want to get the newest Nintendo system. This is it. This is the trifecta. Hold on. This way, Nintendo consumers get options. Do you go slightly weaker and entirely portable Switch? Do you go the middle of the road Switch that can do both? Or do you get more powerful home console only Switch? When New Horizons comes out, Greg will not be in any more SGB. No, Andy. I will live stream all the time. My streams will only be Animal Crossing streams. I am concerned that when Animal Crossing does come out, this will become an Animal Crossing channel. That's why I said they would have to rebrand the OG Switch. Yeah, Neon, I don't know about rebrand as far as change the name completely and everything. I think they would have to adjust the marketing. Connor Hawk, thank you so much for the 3 bits. Very much appreciated. Yeah, I think they would just have to adjust. Oh, why didn't that come through? They would just have to adjust the marketing. They would have to run marketing, because that was the Wii U's biggest problem. The Wii U's biggest issue was the marketing, and nobody knew what the hell it was because it was marketed awfully. So I'm interested to see how they would market it. I'd love a Pro, but a portable Pro. On the issue of games that require Joy-Con, my friend who is a manager at GameStop confirmed you can buy Joy-Cons separately, but they had a sale. Oh, they have a sales bullet. Oh, so you're still so you're still going to be able to connect other controllers to the system. Nintendo, play your way. Dragoon Knight, isn't that it? Isn't that it? That's the whole thing, right? That's the whole thing with the Switch right now. Play your way. Switch XL Elements. That's what I called it before. The Switch XL. When we were talking about the idea of a stronger, slightly bigger Pro version of the Switch as it is now, I was calling it the Switch XL. I would say make them both. Why not make them both? Why not make a Switch XL and then a Switch Pro that is a home console only? Or just call it Switch Home. Yeah, I don't know. I like this idea. The new AC has auto saving. You can't time travel. And yeah, right. Okay, right. So I never really did the time traveling just because it always made a lot of weeds pop up. They gave you the ordinance in New Leaf so that the weeds don't show up, but I didn't time travel in that game anyway. I think I only ever time traveled in the GameCube version just because it was fun. The Wii U marketing was dog. Yeah, it was bad. The Wii U was bad. Switch Mini and the Switch Wumbo. The Switch Wumbo would only play Tetris 99. That would be too confusing to your average consumer. I don't know. I don't think it would be. I think that the consumer is a bit more educated than they used to be, but I don't think that I think the only confusion for the consumer would be between the Switch Lite and the regular Switch. I think the Switch Home, I think they're going to see right on the box that it doesn't have a screen, and they're going to know exactly what it is. Is it better to get Horizons digital or physical? Andy, it's probably going to be better to have it digital just because it's such an on-the-go kind of game. That being said, I'm a physical collector. I'm still going to buy it physically. So why not just make a Nintendo tablet? It's switched to Mendez. I think the Switch is a Nintendo tablet. Have to set your M for mini when it should be set to work. The W for work. Home would be very obvious that it's built. Yeah, if you call it Switch Home, I think that would make it more obvious. You're right. If you called it Switch XL and it was a home-only system, people would think it's just a bigger version of the Switch. So if you call it the Switch XL, the Switch Home, I think people would understand that it is a home console only system. Yeah, I think this would be a good idea. I think this is good. I'll get Reggie on the phone and he can connect me with Doug. Physical to save room for game. Oh, and how about this? The $200 home system has built-in memory. 5 gigs of built-in memory. There we go. What the hell? Actually, I'm gonna go need some rest. Right, get some sleep and have a good one. Very much appreciate you stopping by, but yeah, get some sleep. I'm a little jelly of you because I'm a little tired myself. So yeah, I guess I mean that's it for the Switch Lite. I won't get one unless they figure out something as far as the saving. So it doesn't really. That's not really going to do it for me. If they made a newer, more powerful Switch console bigger, would you still be able to call yourself classic model? Yeah, I guess not. I guess the newer one has to be smaller and sleeker. What do you think of Mendez? That's what we've been talking about. I'm indifferent, not going to buy it. I'm not going to buy it just because I can't afford it, but also because of the memory issue. I'm not going to have... I'm not going to play the game on 2 separate systems with 2 separate save files. Unless they find some way to figure that out as far as cross-saving, it's already a no for me. So if your workout routine works out, will we expect Greg Lite? I believe so. Hopefully with a bigger screen. Yeah, I just got it. I know. I saw you said that, Mendez. Yeah, Neon. I don't need most of the stuff that I have, but I'm a collector. I like to collect things. I look at all these. I don't need any of these games, but I gotta collect them. As Sage sits there and stretches like he's about to get some snacks. Bigger screen. Greg is a Teletubby. Oh no, I'm what Teletubby would I be? Chubby Wubby. I guess I'd be Chubby Wubby right now. That's probably what they call me. Oh God, that's what they'd call me, isn't it? New Horizons is definitely not going to have. Yeah, they announced that it's not going to have any kind of cloud saving. Hey, Nick the Boss. This is Buckeye. I just recently changed my name. Buckeye Cortex, right? But my collection, Chubby Wubby, fan art potential. Hopefully I won't be Chubby Wubby in a year. So let's hope this gym thing works out, which it's going pretty well. I went 4 days this week, and on the Wednesday, which I didn't go, I actually went to the track and walked about a half an hour or so, and it was very hot out, so I got some exercise. I'll be silver will be my color, absolutely. Alrighty.